And tonight from PNC Arena in Raleigh, it's ACC Network basketball as the NC State Wolfpack, off to a 5-1 start, entertain the Eagles of Boston College. The conference just beginning to heat up as 2020 comes to a close. Great to have you with us, everybody. Thanks so much. I'm Dave O'Brien, coming to you from my home in New England. Chris Spatola, the former Army star, coming to you from his home in North Carolina. Chris, great to see you again. And yeah, we're just getting the ACC schedule underway. And one of the early storylines, and I know you thought this might very well be true, is the NC State Wolfpack playing quite well, and they've already picked off a top 20 in North Carolina.
Yeah, and a team, Dave, that's had to deal with the pandemic. Took some time off. We're missing some players in that game against North Carolina. As they get healthy, and they should get healthy tonight and get their full complement of guys, get some continuity, this is a really dangerous team in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Taking on Boston College tonight, and with DJ Funderburg expected to play, not in the starting lineup, but we saw him warming up. He's only played in half the games for the Pack to this point, but they get back a guy who can really make a difference at 6'10".
Especially on the offensive end. He's one of the best low block scorers in the ACC. He's got a massive body, a very unique skill set, and a guy that, for a team that has really struggled on the glass to this point in the season, a guy who should really help them with that. You pair him with Manny Bates. That's a really imposing front line, especially against a team like Boston College tonight.
And a guy who's playing particularly well is Devin Daniels. Now, he's coming off 21 in the victory against North Carolina. We know he likes the big stage because that's when he really tends to light up.
Well, he played his best game, the best game he's played in an NC State uniform in that game against North Carolina. He was their best player down the stretch of last season, and he's picked up right where he left off.
Well, he's part of the defense, a very strong defense for the Pack, and they've been awfully good at turning people over. Look at all the steals that are mounting up for NC State.
Well, they're dynamic at the rim in terms of blocking shots, altering them, and then on the perimeter, they really get after you, really get their hands on a lot of balls and make things really difficult for opposing guards.
Winston Tabb's a guy for BC who can make life difficult for the opponent. He's averaging 15 points a game and also 4 rebounds coming in. They look for him to score.
Yeah, he and Jay Heath become very important tonight, not only scoring the basketball, Dave, but taking care of the basketball. They're going to have it a bulk of the time. Jay Heath had an outstanding season last year as a freshman. Slow start to this year. Take care of the ball tonight, and he's going to have to knock down some perimeter shots.
Well, Boston College is 2-5 coming in. They've played a rugged early schedule. Jim Christian's talked a lot about it. They're capable of hanging with just about anybody, as you see in like losses to St. John's and even Villanova, the number 3 team in the country. The only problem is on this list, the only team that picked off is Rhode Island.
Yeah. Well, look, you play a schedule like that, anybody could be 2-5, particularly with the way that this season has gone in the pandemic. They haven't shot it well, and they're still trying to find that identity defensively. They just, you go to that Syracuse game that's not even up there. I mean, they didn't guard Syracuse. They're going to have to defend tonight. They're going to have to do that because the offense is still a work in progress.
And you get the feeling they absolutely have to make shots. They have to come out and hit a lot of those three-pointers that they have been missing. They're only making about 31, 32% from three-point land. They were terrible against Syracuse, 8 out of 31 beyond the arc. If they do that, they might have a very similar result, which was a near 40-point loss to the Orangemen in that contest in the ACC. And Kevin Keatts, head coach at NC State, now in his 4th year. He's tightening up that rotation and tends to go with lately guys with a little more experience, like Thomas Allen, the junior Nebraska transfer, back into that starting lineup.
And I'll tell you what, you're right. He's gone with his veterans, the lineup that beat North Carolina. He comes off his bench with 2 freshmen, and Shaquille Moore and Cam Hayes, who are outstanding as well.
Well, back at 5-1, they've had a bunch of games canceled or postponed, but when they have been able to be on the floor, they've been a tough team to beat. Up top, it's Daniels. He comes in averaging 17. Outstanding shooting guard. Here's Bates with a touch, and he knocks down his first shot.
And that's the improvement in his game. We know that he is one of the best shot-blocking bigs in the country, Dave, but he has become a much better offensive player just in one offseason.
You're not lying. He is the #1 shot blocker in the country so far this season. Realizing it's early, that might be true in March, too, the way he swats him away. Shot clock a factor. All the way down to 5. On the spin, the shot is up and good and drained right on the money by Jay Heath. As you look at the NC State starting lineup for this game tonight, that includes Allen, Beverly, Daniels, Helms, and Manny Bates. And we'll see when Funderburk re-enters this contest, when he gets in for the first time. That's a slick bounce feed for the slam. Bates getting underneath, and he knows exactly what to do with it.
Boston College runs a 3-2 matchup. It looks like a man-to-man, and you can run a lot of your man action stuff against it. But a good penetration there, which NC State has done a really nice job of attacking the basket, and then Manny Bates does a really nice job playing off.
Wolfpack coming in with just the one loss that came to St. Louis. Helms off the fake. Now looking for some help. He'll take it to the lane. Nifty spin move, and he gets it to go.
He struggled offensively against North Carolina, but I'll tell you what, he was outstanding in that game, and a good start for that young man to get a bucket early in this one.
Got a very quick timeout for Boston College. They don't like the tone of it inside the first 2 minutes. Chris, you spent a lot of time in huddles, you know, as a player and as a coach. Tell me exactly why Jim Christian wanted that timeout, because it certainly looked like NC State was getting what they wanted, getting right to the rim. They're 3 for 3, all of those shots in the paint.
Yeah, they are, and there wasn't much resistance on any of those. And that's where this game's going to be won tonight. NC State is so aggressive about taking their, how about that, taking their real estate in that paint.
Beverly will cast that one up in transition. Can't get that one to drop, but on the other end, keeping track of those blocks now. There was #1 by Manny Bates. He's one of the nation's premier shot blockers as a freshman. Another one won't go. BC very cold out of the gate. And the Wolfpack trying to take advantage. Daniels on the baseline will kick it out. Helms gets a good look from 3, but can't drain it. Bates going over the back, and he's going to commit the foul. That's #1 on Manny Bates.
This is what he does. He is exceptional. You know, you're not going to see many shot blockers with, obviously he's got the physical skills. He's tall, he's long, he's a pogo stick. But I'm telling you what, Dave, he's got an intuitive feel for it. He's just got a really good instinct, timing-wise, for blocking shots. And he gives their defense, he allows those guards out on that perimeter to take some chances you wouldn't otherwise take, because you know you got Big Brother behind you.
He blocked 5 shots against North Carolina in the big victory, which went 79-76. Mitchell on the baseline. That's going to be a traveling violation. And that's another thing. I mean, not even a block shot there, but forcing the turnover is Bates, because he is draped all over him, ready to swat it about 10 rows deep.
You know, it reminds me, and you'll appreciate this, going back to those old Georgetown teams with Dikembe Mutombo, Alonzo Mourning, obviously Patrick Ewing, where that defense was designed for those perimeter guards to get after the ball and basically funnel it to those shot blockers in the middle. That's what Kevin Keatts has created with this defense when you have a Manny Bates in the middle.
Daniels making a basket here, and another nifty move to get to the 10 and 1. And there's not a lot of resistance with the Wolfpack getting to the rim in this game, on top 8-2, and he's looking for a 3-point play. And we mentioned that Daniels had such a good game on Tuesday, as Funderburk is in. DJ Funderburk, who has missed a few games, he is back in tonight. And you know, Wolfpack fans are delighted to see DJ Funderburk, the 6'10 senior from Cleveland, getting back in there. CJ Felder also making an appearance now for Boston College. With the Pack on top, 8-2 here inside PNC Arena, and a pick by Daniels in transition. Moore going in strong. Lays it off for Funderburk, and he quickly gets inside. And the Wolfpack just dominating the paint. Boston College chilly at the outset. Looking for someone to catch fire. Now, all 10 points for the Wolfpack have been in the paint. And there's another turnover. And there's going to be a foul in transition here on Boston College. 16:06 to go here in the first half.
Well, this is why Jim Christian called a timeout in the first couple minutes of the game, Dave. His team's not ready to play. I mean, these are inexcusable turnovers against a team coming in. This isn't a surprise. I mean, NC State is forcing 21 turnovers a game. What is Boston College doing? I mean, they are just giving the thing up, and you see what the turnovers do to NC State's offense.
Well, they lost to Syracuse by 38, and another strong move. It is Funderburk again. He's not wasting any time.
No.
It's one thing to miss a few games and kind of relax and ease your way in, but they are looking for him, and he's delivering right out of the gate. And just like that, a 10-point lead for the Wolfpack. And Ole can guard too. That shot clock now down to 6. Kelly kicks it into the corner, and the 3 won't drop, but a whistle, and this will go against Boston College on James Karnick as he commits the foul.
DJ Funderburk, NC State fans excited to see him back. When he catches it on that block, that left block can get to that left hand. He is a bucket.
The College Football Playoff Semifinals, New Year's Day on ESPN.
Can't wait for the national semifinals. The last meeting between Alabama and Notre Dame was 2013. Alabama in a rout. You're on the Alabama train for sure, Chris, aren't you?
I am. Yeah, look, you know me, Dave. I'm an offensive guy. With the weapons that Alabama has, and after watching what Clemson did to Notre Dame in the ACC championship game, I have a hard time thinking Notre Dame's going to be able to, first of all, score enough points.
NC State with a traveling violation on Cam Hayes, one of the freshmen just into the contest, with the Wolfpack on top 12-2. Devontae Smith, I don't know if you saw this today, was named the College Football Player of the Year and became the first wide receiver ever to win that honor. The great wideout for Alabama, and can just break a game wide open all by himself. He is something to watch. You're right about all those weapons. That's going to be blocked out of bounds by the big guy Karnick at 6'9", the senior from British Columbia, who transferred from Lehigh. He missed the Eagles' initial few games because the NCAA had yet to rule on his request for a transfer waiver, but he's played really well in the last 4 games.
And in a game like
plenty
this,
of transfers. Yep.
His size can at least match up.
BC trying to get something going, but it's not going to happen with turnovers like that. They're going to win it right back, however. Heath will pop it up there and knock it down. Jay Heath, who Jim Christian says he's a team video of what we want to do at Boston College. And I don't know if a coach can say anything better about a player than, hey, this is the model for us.
He had a phenomenal freshman season. He really did. Got better as the year went on. He's been up and down to start this year so far, particularly shooting the basketball. And I think at times it's affected his defense. It certainly affected his defense in that Syracuse loss.
Daniels from 3. Second effort here by Hayes, trying to get inside. That'll spin away. A rare miss down low, but they're going to make the next one. And another one by Funderburk, who is right in the middle of everything offensively. One of the ACC's top returning big men, and he's showing it tonight.
He sure is. Looks like he's ready to play, and this is an area where NC State has struggled on the defensive glass and on the offensive glass. That's where if you're hungry to score and you look like that and you have that size, you got the ability to make an impact. And so now, again, Manny Bates did a nice job, Dave, sort of anchoring this thing with Funderburk out and their freshman big out. But now you get those guys back healthy, particularly Funderburk. They are loaded up front.
You talk about Manny Bates and the last 3 games, all of which Funderburk was unable to play in because of injury. And, you know, and Manny Bates probably would tell you those are the best 3 games he's had in a row for the Wolfpack. I mean, he's been playing great basketball. And did more than just, you know, fill a couple of gaps. He was sensational. Kelly will drain that one. Rich Kelly, you can really shoot the 3. Getting double figures off the bench. He's averaging 10 per game for Jim Christian. And BC trying to close the gap a little bit. Funderburk again, doubled up on the baseline, will kick it out. The swing for Moore, who will launch it, but too strong. Kelly catches, fires, and hits it. They let him do it, and from way downtown he sticks it. So BC making a comeback run here, and Kelly with a great lift off the bench.
They're playing 5-on-4 because it looks like Manny Bates was down in the backcourt, and a great find by Stephon Mitchell to hit Kelly top of the key, trailing to play. And like you said, Dave, nice little run here for Boston College as Rich Kelly, who was the leading scorer in the MAC last year, or second leading scorer out of Quinnipiac, buries 2 threes to cut it to 5.
Now he had 36 points in a game against New Hampshire. Averaged 17 points a game in the MAC. BC on a 6-0 run. And another of those transfers we talked about for Jim Christian, who they hope will pay off over the course of the season.
Interesting. Jim Christian telling us that Kelly wanted an MBA. He wanted to get his master's in business from Boston College. And so he's going to end up getting that and also play some basketball in the interim. It's really a cool story.
I think it's a very smart decision, obviously. Assuming you can qualify academically for Boston College, and Bates is going to walk away and head down the tunnel. Here's a look at what happened with Bates on this play.
It looked like Kelly got into his knee there.
Yep, he took a shot. We'll keep an eye on Manny's return. Sebron on the baseline. Get it up top for Beverly. You can really shoot it too. In fact, he's hitting 48% beyond the 3-point line. With the shot clock winding down, they have to heave it up there. The miss by Allen. BC in transition. Kelly off the window, and it won't drop for him. Wolfpack has cooled off a little bit. The shot's not falling as they were early on when everything was inside, but suddenly on target is Thomas Allen. He's making 47% beyond that 3-point line.
He can really shoot. Kevin Keats telling us he's a guy that he'll hit 2 threes in a game and kind of overthinks it, starts turning them down. But like you said, he's shooting 47% from there.
How about the big fella Karnick to drill the 3? The Lehigh transfer. And again, that's where Boston College can at least point to a positive and say the guys off the bench and a lot of veteran experience, guys like Kelly and Karnick, have done good work for them. And that's going to be an offensive foul on Funderburk. And we will take the timeout. 11:25 to go. BC back in it. 18-13, the Pack. The Eagles getting their last 9 points off the bench.
Well, and they're from the 3-point line. I mean, look, they lead the ACC in 3-point field goal attempts. 46% of their shots on the year are threes. And that's why we said if they can get it going, they haven't shot it well in the year. They're only shooting 31% as a team, and they lead the league in attempts. So if they can get it going, there's no question that they can. It's the great equalizer, that 3-point line.
On top, 18-13, NC State. A foul here. BC with a 9-3 run, though. And so Mitchell trying to get it in against the pressure. The Wolfpack can bring plenty of that.
Hey, go.
is Ashton Langford running the point. He's another transfer, came over from Providence College. His younger brother DeMar is a freshman on the BC squad. On the drive tabs, man, he's been quiet. That's going to be an offensive foul. Chris, he came in the top scorer for Boston College, 15 a game. He's been pretty invisible so far.
Yeah, we haven't heard his name yet tonight, and I don't like that call. I just don't like that call. We have seen that so much this year. You know, if the offensive player is going to get to the side of the defender like he did there, that's got to be a block. I didn't think Helms was there.
NC State 20 wins last year. Some people still debating whether the Wolfpack would have gone to the NCAA tournament. Daniels slamming on the brakes. That's a tough shot over the shoulder for 2.
He has been so good getting to the basket. Devin Daniels.
Ashton Langford and draws a foul as well as he makes the shot. They don't really rely on him for a ton of offense. He gets about 9 a game. He can get hot too, and he can do a lot with the basketball.
He can, and he can score it a little bit. Sets the table for them. You know, I think BC has settled in. I think the pressure, particularly the ball pressure from NC State, knocked BC back early in this game. Seems like BC has settled down, particularly when they went to their bench, and now starting to run some half-court offense.
Yeah, that bench has, I think, served that purpose of calming the game down. BC has made 5 of their last 6, so some really good substitutions by Jim Christian. And now they have pulled it within 4. 20-16, the Wolfpack. Braxton Beverly, by the way, with a couple of fouls. Daniels on the baseline, trying to ring free. He gets that one for the jumper. That will not drop by Helms. Now, early on in the game, it was all inside for the Wolfpack. That 3 barely gets to the iron by Jay Heath. Helms with a handoff to Allen. Daniels with a runner. Funderburg again up and in, and that's his game as he sticks in 2 more.
And he followed the play because he was a ball screener out top. And then as Daniels attack, there's another turnover.
And another basket. Yes, 24-16. Funderburg, by the way, with 9 points in his return to the rotation tonight for Coach Keats. Coming up in the 9-minute mark here of the first half in Raleigh. Ashton Langford looking to penetrate. Slicing in. Boy, that's a pretty shot. Not sure how he made it.
A heck of a move. The change of direction behind his back. Most impressive part. And then fit it in under Funderburg.
Ashton Langford with 5 points and a whistle. Stops the clock with 8:44 to go in the half.
The Providence transfer. A nice little dance step there. And then using the momentum of Funderburg to come back to the right side of the basket.
And Ashton Langford Jr. now out of Worcester, Massachusetts. And, you know, at Providence, he had his issues. I don't think they were entirely sure how to use him. You know, as a point guard, he loves to play in a wide open style and really fly around the court. NC State on top 25-18. And coming up next Wednesday, we have 2 more men's college basketball games for you right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Virginia Tech squaring off against Louisville. That's at 6:30, and at Boston College at Cameron Indoor to take on the Duke Blue Devils. Now BC handling the pressure. Going in strong. That is Langford. DeMar Langford as it's tipped out by the Wolfpack.
Nice job by Funderburg bodying up there, not committing a foul.
trying to get it in, gets it into his kid brother. Heath will back it out. Jay Heath, who came in averaging 12 points per game, but can be explosive. Ashton Langford with a little bit of a stumble. He's going to give it up, and that'll turn into 2 points, and the bucket by Shaquille Moore, the freshman. So NC State with a 10-point lead with 8 minutes to go in half number 1 here in Raleigh. Karnick to the opposite hand, but it won't drop. Funderburk, a good job tipping that one to a guard. Helms tough on the baseline. Yes, got it to go. Jericho Helms, a 6'7" junior from St. Louis, able to convert, and BC needs another timeout. The Wolfpack catching fire again here at home. Tomorrow, Packer and Durham continue their Clemson and Notre Dame coverage. The college football playoff semifinals just 2 days away. Can't wait for that bowl season in full swing. Wisconsin wants a do-over. After they won their bowl game, they dropped the Crystal Trophy in the locker room and shattered it. So they'd like another one. Oh, nice move inside by Shaquille Moore, the freshman who had 17 against North Carolina. And the coaching staff for the Wolfpack, they say he is a freakish athlete, the best pure athlete they have.
He is. He is a phenomenal athlete. He's lightning quick, can get anywhere he wants, and is really an elite defender. He is so good on the ball.
He's stepping back and he drains a triple. That's one BC desperately needed.
By the way, Dave, I was watching the football game you did last night. We broke out a few boxes of Cheez-Its after the game and started dumping them on one another. This is now a tradition in the house.
Wow. Boy, do I love hearing that, and certainly the Cheez-It folks do. Can't get any better than that, as that'll be tipped out of bounds. And, you know, of course, after the game, Oklahoma State, they doused their head coach, Mike Gundy, in Cheez-Its out of, a great big Gatorade bucket. People were speculating, is this going to be the thing now? And I am dying for the Duke's Mayo Bowl for that to happen. Just a big bucket of mayonnaise on the head coach. I think that's the way to go.
What a tradition. I missed the tropical smoothie bowl this year where they were dumping a blue smoothie on the guy last year. What are we doing? We're trying to run a society here.
That's going to be a turnover on a carry. So BC will give it back. NC State on top 32-21. 8 turnovers for the Eagles. And you touched on this as we came on the air. What a big number that was going to be. How many times the Eagles gave it away. And NC State can put so much pressure on you. Wolfpack has now made their last 5 after a chilly spell shooting it. Underneath Funderburk, and one as he'll go back to the line. And boy, he's getting anything he wants, Chris.
Well, I tell you what, I said at the top that he's one of the best low block scorers in the ACC. You're going to start talking about this guy nationally. He has such a good feel. Really, scoring in the post and scoring in the paint is about where you catch it and the angle you have. Every catch he has had tonight, he's been about a step, 1.5 to 2 feet from the rim, and has just been able to finish it. And then the other stuff, he's gone after the offensive glass. Man, he has been good in this first half.
NC State, 14 field goals made, 13 in the paint. So they have just overmatched the Eagles there. That could be a traveling violation here on James Karnick. The senior will give it away, and that's an unforced turnover.
At the very least, it's not a live ball one, so you can at least set up your defense. But this is unsustainable, and it obviously hasn't been sustainable yet. I mean, you cannot live turning the ball over like this.
Hayes on the drive, goes crashing in, and he'll commit the foul, an offensive foul here on the Wolfpack. About 6 minutes to go in the half. We talk about DJ Funderburk as you watch the foul here. and what he's capable of doing. The numbers, you know, he's missed a bunch of games this season, but only 8 points and 3 rebounds. One of the things when he had the flirtation with the NBA was the league came back and told him you need to improve your outside shot. You need to improve your perimeter shot to be able to score that way. But when he dominates like this, he's one of the top inside players, certainly in the ACC.
Well, and BC's front line is not necessarily one of the front lines that's going to be able to stop a low block player, but you know, Funderburk is a traditional low block guy, and they're kind of phasing those types of players out of the game.
Travel on Shaquille Moore, so turnover here for the Wolfpack. They've given it back 7 times tonight. Now, we have not seen Manny Bates since he took that shot to the knee, and we're being told his return to the game is probable, but he has been unable to get back in there for quite some time since he took that hit. Harnick will miss on a long one. Now in transition, here's Daniels. Funderburk again, and 2 more for him. He's having a monster half.
He's having a monster half. There is no resistance from Boston College, and give Funderburk credit. He's going after his stuff. He ran the floor there, got to that baseline block area, and they're finding him.
He has 16 points here in the first half, and has made his last 4 shots, and is the major reason why the Wolfpack have a 37-25 lead on BC with 4.5 to go in the half. Daniels will flip it up there and going to roll off the iron, and a whistle here on the baseline with 4:25 to go. Boston College 2-5 coming in. They're expected to finish near the bottom of the ACC. They lost 13 games in the conference last year. They're picked to finish 14th this year in the Atlantic Coast Conference. NC State forcing a timeout because Boston College could not get it in and did not want it to turn over again. So a timeout here. 4:25 in the first half still to be played. NC State leading 37-25. Coming up on the State Farm halftime report, you'll see some of Funderburk's highlights because there are a lot of them. And Packer and Durham, the best of ACC basketball. We're seeing one of the better performances in the very early part of the ACC schedule tonight because DJ Funderburk, making his return for the Wolfpack after missing half their games to this point, already has 16 points.
And he looks fresh for a guy who hasn't played since December 3rd. I mean, there he's picking up the ball in the full court, and he's ravaged them at the basket offensively.
It's going to be deflected off of DJ and out of bounds, so Boston College will have it. He has 16 points, and he didn't even start this game. He came off the bench and has just done everything he wanted down around the rim. So the Eagles trying to put it in against the pressure again. Up top here for Tabbs, who has been a non-factor, as he will launch a long one and hit that. Trying to make a little noise before the end of the half, and they need a number of those out of Tabbs, who is their best and most prolific three-point man. He has 5 here in the first half, 5 points. Daniels up top, averaging 17 points a game. Blew right by his man, but couldn't convert. Kelly, here's Mitchell. That won't drop for him, and BC one and done. Wide open Moore, and knocks that one down to make it 40-28.
And you said it, wide open.
Freshman from Greensboro, North Carolina. Looks to be a very exciting young player, and another turnover. Well, those are starting to rack up big time. That is 10 now for Boston College in the opening half.
Jim Christian, he told us coming in, you know, we've got to take care of the ball. Again, NC State forcing 21 turnovers a game. They're third in the country in turnover margin at about plus 10.
.241 to go in the half, and tomorrow's New Year's Eve we'll have a matinee women's basketball matchup for you, with Notre Dame taking on the 4-2 Hurricanes. That's at 1 o'clock Eastern time right here on the ACC network. Funderburk heading to the line, so he's not done scoring here in the first half. That's 17 points. And James Karnick back on now for the Eagles. And DJ makes one of two. A scrap for the rebound, and it'll stay on this end. 17 points for Funderburk to lead all scorers. NC State opening up their ACC schedule with a 79-76 win last Tuesday over number 17 North Carolina that was on this court in Raleigh. Funderburk went airborne, and a whistle on the play. They've got a tie-up, and so with the arrow it'll go the other way.
That was well defended, though. I mean, that's the first time tonight BC's made a stand. Happens to be Karnick there. Funderburk wants that left hand. I mean, he is so much more efficient when he can get to that left hand, and Karnick doing a nice job cutting that off, forcing Funderburk to go back to the right, and you saw how awkward it looked.
Well, coming up in the last 2 minutes of the first half at PNC, Ashton Langford denied there, but he got it into the corner. Mitchell can't hit the jump shot. On the run out, Helms will dunk that one. They found him quickly, and he slammed it down.
You know, Helms did not shoot it well against North Carolina, and he took a lot of hell for it from fans. I said to Kevin Keats the other day, I thought Helms played great in that game. He guarded Garrison Brooks. Garrison Brooks did not play well in that game. I thought defensively Helms was so engaged. There's so many things on the offensive end besides making a basket. I thought he was great. He just didn't shoot it well. He didn't make a shot, and you know, sometimes you can have nights like that.
Tamar Langford with the slam on a well-run play. NC State leading by 13, however. Daniels looking for the big man. Funderburk. Daniels going in strong, drawing a lot of attention, and a whistle. And a foul here with 1:07 showing.
You know, they're tough, Dave, because Kevin Keats, you go back to his teams he had at Wilmington and what he's tried to do here at NC State. They have capable shooters, and I actually think they can be a better perimeter shooting NC State team this year. But they are all putting it on the floor to attack. And so you look at the paint points tonight, and of course Funderburk has half of their paint points, but the other paint points are coming from these perimeter players putting their head down, determined to drive the basketball.
Now Helms at the line, making it a 15-point lead for the Pack, and Boston College just trying to get it across midcourt. And Helms, that's going to be a blocking foul on him as Mitchell made contact with him. 45-30 with 58.6 to go.
Steph Mitchell having to, that's a good call. That's a block. Steph Mitchell now having to bring up the ball a little bit for BC against the full court pressure.
Tabs backing beyond the three-point line, and another whistle, and a flurry of those here in the last couple of minutes. Now, the ACC has really done a pretty remarkable job of getting games in and protecting players in both football and basketball, I think. And at Boston College, that's been especially remarkable considering that the student athletes live among the 8,000 students on campus, just like any other student. I mean, no athletic dorms, no separation there. And I think it's something that Jim Christian is very proud of, and the athletic department of BC did a great job during the football season too.
It's well said, Dave. It is. What has gone on, starting with football and now carrying through to basketball, has been unbelievable, miraculous that we have been able to do this with what's going on out there in the world. And it speaks to the commitment of players, coaches, obviously medical staff, personnel. We are the beneficiaries because we get to call these games. Fans get to watch them. But this has been unbelievable what these schools have been doing since August. Since August, buying into, we are going to make this happen, and we're going to try to do it in a safe way, the safest way possible. But we're going to be determined to make this happen.
Yep. I think the conference deserves a whole lot of credit for doing such a great job. There's one point during football season, I think 87 or 88% of the games had been played, which I didn't think was possible. And in other conferences, it wasn't near possible. But in the Atlantic Coast Conference, the diligence of testing and protecting players, following the protocols, nothing's going to be perfect in a pandemic, but to do it as safely as possible, that was the mantra. And it's been followed, and to this point, it's been pretty incredible. So 30 seconds to go before halftime. NC State exerting their will in the paint. That's been the story of this first half in Raleigh. And the return of DJ Funderburk, who has been a star, coming back for the Pack. Daniels on the drive. He'll kick it here for Allen. BC with an opportunity to get another shot up here. Ashton Langford with the drive. Man, he was a rocket. There's going to be a traveling violation with 1 second showing on the clock. And a 10-point game.
A really nice push by Langford. You're right. He was shot out of a cannon and nobody stopped the ball. Transition defense, the priority is the basketball, and nobody cut off Langford.
Well, the way things started here with NC State just dominating inside, if they can get within 10, well, that's not going to happen. They'll wind up 10 points down at the break. Funderburk was really something with 17 points, 6 out of 7 shooting it. NC State with 32 points in the paint. And they lead Boston College by 10 at halftime tonight in the ACC. We are at halftime. Our State Farm halftime report. Chris Spatola and Dave O'Brien with you from our homes. And in Raleigh, NC State with a 10-point lead over Boston College. Chris, it feels like it ought to be more than that. Yeah. The way the game started, the way Funderburk got things rolling.
Yeah, and the way that they're turning BC over. This guy's been a stud, and we didn't really know what we were going to see. He hasn't played since December 3rd. He's coming off, having the virus and being out. He has been unbelievable on the glass. They've thrown it to him on the block. He's run the floor. He's had so much energy, given the fact that he's been off. And then this defense, this NC State defense, is so good at turning teams over, and the first half was no exception. They turned Boston College over 10 times in that half. It led to a lot of runouts. Again, a big reason why they have that big scoring in the paint number. BC's going to have to fix that, Dave, in this second half.
Well, Boston College able to hit some threes to hang around and actually get back in the game. 5 out of 11, but the points in the paint, that's more than dominating. 32-12 for NC State. Looking forward to the second half here at PNC Arena. NC State leading BC 45-35. This halftime report is presented by State Farm. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. This halftime report is presented by State Farm. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Here's the answer to the question. It's going to win you a lot of money in a trivia contest one day. Raleigh is the city of oaks. I did not know that before tonight, but they have been dropping that giant acorn we just showed you there since New Year's 1992. That is wonderful tradition here in one of my favorite cities in the ACC. Love the visits to Raleigh. Great restaurant town. Great place to hang out on weekends under normal circumstances. We hope to get back to that in 2021. And getting right back at it. On cue there is DJ Funderburk, who had 17 in the first half, and they go right to him, Chris, to begin the second half.
Yeah, and no Manny Bates. So DJ Funderburk starting here in the second half. And like you said, they throw it right to him out of the locker room, and he goes to that right hand.
And banks in a couple of more for 19. Heath was pretty quiet in the first half. He's going to misfire there, but Mitchell was right back up and in on the strike for the Eagles.
You know, the shot quality, too. NC State scoring so much more easily. It's one of the reasons they shot 56% in the first half, and it's been much more of an adventure for BC. That layup there by Mitchell, really one of the easy buckets they've had.
So Boston College down by 10. It's been quite a while since they were within single digits in this game. Stephon Mitchell gives up the dribble. Shot clock inside 10 seconds. Swooping inside for 2. So Heath with the basket, and it is now an 8-point lead. What's at stake here? Well, Boston College looking for their first win in Raleigh since 2007. NC State with a quick start in ACC play. That's what they want after knocking off rival North Carolina in game 1 in the ACC. Helms harassed there. Not a good shot. On the run out, batted away, and the theft by the Wolfpack. And here they come again. Daniels open. Here's a 3. Can't hit it.
Should have shot it on the catch. You can tell where his mindset is. He wants to drive it. He should have just shot it when he caught it.
So Boston College able to hang around. They got very nice contributions off the bench in the first half to get them back into a game that looked like it was on the verge of becoming a blowout for NC State. Tabs catches and fires off the back iron. And they go 0 for 2 on that possession. And we'll see if Funderburk remains the emphasis on offense. They wanted him again there, and he got shoved from behind. Hadn't played in a few weeks because of COVID-related issues, but back on the floor here tonight, and he has been the man with 19. He has also chipped in with 4 rebounds. And a quick inbounds, and that's going to stick. That's tough to do.
That is tough to do, and it's one of the more embarrassing plays. Not that you can help it, but it's not a good look when you when you strike the phalange, Dave O'Brien.
Well done on the phalange. You don't get a chance to use that very often.
You don't get to use City of Oaks very often either, but you've done it very aptly.
Had no idea, actually, until tonight. Tabs trying to drive it, steps back, and the shot's really not falling for him. Mitchell, as he lost that one, it's going to be tipped out of bounds off the Wolfpack, off Funderburk. Just getting underway here in the second half. Chris Spatola and Dave O'Brien with you from our homes. And certainly looking forward to the day when we can get back inside PNC Arena. It's certainly a big-time arena. Funderburk, by the way, now with 2 personal fouls. Tabs really cold. Nice give there, and a whistle on the play. And Funderburk will pick up his 3rd foul as he went for the block. So here's your #1 story of the moment. DJ Funderburk with 3.
BC's done a nice job to start this half on the offensive glass. They've extended some possessions here by being active, and like you said, with no Manny Bates, the 3rd foul there on Funderburk becomes big. Now this is a team that's had to play with the 1 big, while Funderburk was out. They have shown the ability to go small, but with how well Funderburk has played tonight, you hate to lose him for any extended time.
Sebron can't hit. 7-point game, however. You wonder if the Wolfpack can get Manny Bates back into the contest. He remains on the bench and unable to get back in it. At least not yet. Funderburk, his season high in minutes is 21. He's almost there. He's just a couple of minutes away in his return. Look at his first 3 games and what he has done so far tonight. NC State had the pause because of COVID-related issues, and he was part of that. But he has been just outstanding tonight. Daniels around the back, try to shove that pass in the paint and a tie-up on it.
A really good rotation there by Winston Tabbs. He creates that tie-up, a good heads-up play from the weak side. And that's where BC's done. They have not done a good job on Funderburk, obviously, but they've done a nice job on some of these other guys. Daniels only 4 points. Shaq Moore, who was so good against North Carolina, we haven't called his name much.
Being told that Manny Bates is out for the game and no basket there. A whistle before the shot and a shove against BC. But Bates will not return, and Funderburk is in trouble. And all of a sudden, this is a game feeling a lot closer than 7 points.
Yeah. Well, and how about that luck? Bates going solo for a few weeks. You get Funderburk back, and now Bates is out.
Mitchell reversing course and got it to go, and a foul as well. Stephon Mitchell bringing the Eagles back a little closer, and now looking for a 3-point play.
You know what? They look tougher. They look more aggressive. They look like Jim Christian got into them at halftime and said, look, you got to put your big boy pants on in this game here tonight. And they've been much more active on the glass. They haven't settled as much from the perimeter. They've attacked the rim. And look at this.
47-42 with almost 16 minutes to go, and BC certainly with the momentum on their side. Braxton Beverly off to Daniels. Devin Daniels on a tough drive. Funderburk, 2 more for him. Give him 21.
And that's made by Daniels and his penetration.
Mitchell on a baseline. Tabs. They move it very well, and that leads to a foul as Karnick gets hit. 15:25 to go. Timeout. NC State on top by 7 here at home. BC determined to make a run at this thing, Chris. A 7-2 run to open the second half.
They have, and they've manufactured points. Tough finishes like that there from Heath. Mitchell there. They've done some work on the offensive glass. They've been much more aggressive. It's a different, I don't know how you see it, Dave. They look like a different team to me, at least at the start of the second half, than they did at any point in that first half.
Well, particularly the way the game started. They were getting blown away inside, and then Jim Christian, with less than 2 minutes into the game, he called a timeout and let them have it. They were slowly able to chip away after a couple of big deficits, and now really closing things. And next Wednesday, we have 2 more men's college basketball games right here on the ACC network. Virginia Tech squaring off against Louisville at the KFC Yum Center. Boston College at Cameron Indoor against Duke. That all follows Florida State and Syracuse.
Tell you what, Clemson and Virginia Tech, watch out. You and I did that game was that last week. I'll tell you what, both those teams get after you defensively. It's going to keep them in a lot of games.
Daniels floats one up there, and it drops down. Caught a lot of iron, but nice touch by Devin Daniels. He has a lot of shots, a variety of shots. 51-44, the Wolfpack. And now we'll see how BC responds. Ashton Langford. Heath backing in. And a little fall away, well short. Mitchell with a tough rebound in heavy traffic. Heath will fire again. This time he makes the three.
And that's how you fight back into a game. You buy extra possessions. Steph Mitchell active on the glass. And you have that three off of the offensive rebound.
Heath with a dozen. Mitchell shoving from behind, bodying up on Funderburg, trying to contain him.
You know, one of the things when you have a shot blocking team, you have shot blocking bigs, is they are so aggressive in coming over to block a shot or alter a shot. It gets you out of defensive rebounding position, and that's been one of the issues early in this season for NC State. And in this second half, at least on that play there, that's, you know, Funderburg comes over too far, and then it gives Steph Mitchell a run right to the rim.
Boston College will win that one on a good hustle by Ashton Langford as he hit the deck. And this is a 4-point game. And there were stretches of that first half you figured it would never be this close again the rest of the night.
Yeah. I said to you at halftime, 10. This doesn't feel like it's 10. It feels like it's a lot more.
You know, that is often, I don't have to tell you, a magic number. You know, if you're at 10 or under in a game you've been trailing the entire time, you feel pretty darn good about yourself. You feel like there's hope for that second half. That's how BC's played. Going to be tipped by NC State. 13:55 to go in this contest. And anybody's game. The Wolfpack against the Eagles at PNC Arena. Here, ACC Network basketball from Raleigh, North Carolina. That was Daniels getting his fingertips on it. The lead for the Pack was 15 with under a minute left in the first half. Plucked away on a great defense there.
Ooh. Now that's how you take it. That's how you take it. And that's a killer for BC. I mean, that was reminiscent of the first half. Just a giveaway on a side out of bounds, and then this is what he can do. Had two monster dunks in that win over North Carolina. And if you don't expect it, if you don't see it coming, he's going to get up in your grill in that air. This is this dunk against North Carolina. Yeah, it just goes baseline, elevates. My word.
Shaquille Moore, 52-47. That's going to be out of bounds with 13:44 to go. Moore, very aggressive defender, outstanding guard, serious hops. Ashton Langford gets it in. Heath jumping into the lane, can't convert it. The catch and the shot, that's going to be barely off the iron by Hayes. They get a second chance. Hayes will back it out. Shot clock down to 10. Kick it underneath. Terrific pass, and Sebron with the conversion.
You know, when Kevin Keats was at Louisville, they went on that national championship run in 2013. The backcourt was Peyton Siva, who Kevin Keats told me was the greatest leader he's ever been around, and Russ Smith. Two small guards, you know, both handling types of guards. That's who Shaquille Moore and Cam Hayes remind me of. Now, they're not there yet, and Cam Hayes is a different player than Russ Smith, but they remind me of that. And there's, you know, Kevin Keats speaks so glowingly, obviously, of that time he spent. Here's Cam Hayes on a nice back cut there by Sebron, but both those guards have loads of potential. Hopefully they stay the course, stay in an NC State uniform here for a few years. They have a chance to be really good.
Yeah, Kevin Keats raves about the freshman Hayes being such an intelligent player. And you could see it on a pass like that. You know, the patience and a basket they kind of needed at that point. 54-47. Heath coming in, averaging a dozen points a game. The drive and the kick. They want Heath again. Yes, set of three-pointers. Hit a couple of those in the last few minutes.
Yeah, has not shot it well this year. Only 28% from three on the season. But we know he could fill it up.
Daniels was wide open for the answer, and he did not miss it. And NC State goes back on top by 7. And a timeout with 12:07 remaining. NC State up by 7.
And it's threes, dueling threes here in the Oak City.
Well, tomorrow, New Year's Eve, and we have a matinee women's basketball matchup for you. Notre Dame taking on 4-2 Miami. That's at 1 o'clock Eastern time right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Chris Spatola and Dave O'Brien with you, coming to you from our homes. Thanks for joining us tonight. ACC Network basketball and NC State. At times they were having their way with the Eagles tonight, but it's only a 7-point advantage. And Boston College has the ball. Jay Heath has 15 points for BC after a chilly start. Shot clock getting close. Down to 3. Mitchell slams on the brakes and drops it in with a sweet little fall away.
At NC State, a closeout drill there. And a nice job by BC staying with the possession. And they get Steph Mitchell to make a tough shot.
Too strong by Hayes. Second effort. And a whistle before the shot. And a foul on the deck with 11:16 to go. And a tight one here in the second half in Raleigh. ACC scoreboard earlier. Virginia Tech sneaking by Miami 80-78. Clemson and Florida State, pretty good game there. Clemson knocks off the number 18 team in the country 77-67. And Virginia wins 66-57 over Notre Dame. North Carolina up by 3 in the second half against the Yellow Jackets. Sebron on the baseline, and he's working very, very hard. The freshman takes a hit, and he'll be headed to the line. Very versatile player. Can play the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4. He can do a lot.
Yeah, he can. Oh, and he looks great in a uniform. He and the freshman Jalen Gibson, both those guys really raw at this point in their careers, but you love to start with 6'7", 180 pounds for Sebron. He's got to keep acclimating to the physicality of the college game, but he is really going to be a good player.
This is both foul shots, though. BC up 5 in this half. 57-52, and they have the basketball. Under 11 to go. Boston College with some guys in foul trouble, though. They have 4 men with 3 fouls. Heath, Mitchell, Felder, and Karnick, all with 3 personal fouls. So keep an eye on that.
Nice.
Great pass inside. Mitchell almost got that to go as well. He'll be at the line to shoot 2.
Well, a really good execution on the under out of bounds. You know, just a chance to run a set play. And it was just a slip. We didn't see the whole play there, but a slip to the basket there by Steph Mitchell as Rich Kelly flared out to the wing. And another foul on Funderburk.
Yeah, number 4, Chris, on DJ Funderburk, so he's got to come out. And they're already missing Manny Bates, who will not return because of an injury. So all of a sudden, a completely different look to the last 11 minutes of this game. And Mitchell sinks that.
So they're going to go small here with Helms at the 5, and they have had to play this way. The last 2 games, Manny Bates has been in foul trouble against Campbell and North Carolina in the first half of both those games. They have gone to Helms at the 5, so they've been here before.
Well, a one-possession game. I really, honestly didn't think we would say that after the way this game started. And how dominating the Wolfpack was in the paint. And a stumble and a traveling violation, so a turnover for the Wolfpack as Shaquille Moore went down and traveled with it. So the Eagles have an opportunity here on the road tonight in the ACC, as you look at the turnovers, to tie this game on a three-pointer.
Only 2 turnovers in the second half for Boston College, and it has really hampered NC State's offense. You know, they scored, converted off of those live ball turnovers so much in the first half from Boston College, and BC has cut back on that, and it's hurt NC State's offense.
The Wolfpack opened up a 15-4 lead to start the game. Their biggest lead was 15. Beverly off the front of the iron, tipped in an outstanding effort to make the save, but it's over to Daniels and the Wolfpack, and here they come. Driving down the lane and tipped away. And the Wolfpack will retain possession at 9:58 remaining. Boston College off to a very rough start at 2-5, 0-1 in the ACC. They did call a foul on the play, so Daniels will be at the line where he's a 70% foul shooter.
He is so good at that kind of a play he just made. He's 4th in the ACC in pick and roll efficiency, and they get him early where the defense isn't really settled, particularly the back end of the defense, and he gets downhill, Dave. He's shooting 70% at the rim, 4th in the league in pick and roll efficiency. He is so good off the dribble.
Beverly determined drive to lay it in, and no one picked him up. Braxton Beverly right through for 2. You mentioned this a couple of times, Chris, the difference in confidence for the Eagles after the initial 10 or 12 minutes a game. That's a sweet jump shot on target by Allen. And again, he's 47% outside the three-point line.
And a great find. Again, it was Devin Daniels out of the pick and roll with a good find to that corner 3.
Jay Heath directing traffic now. Approaching 9 minutes to go in Raleigh. Heath will penetrate and kick, and tipped out of bounds by the Wolfpack.
Here's Devin Daniels again. His penetration sucks in the defense. The weak side helps off Jay Heath. And I don't know if, that's not knowing your personnel. I'm not helping off a 47% three-point shooter. That's got to be somebody else who picks up that help on Daniels.
Ashton Langford to put it in. And let's see if Tabs comes to life offensively, as they did get the shot off in time for Boston College. Because Winston Tabs, who came in averaging 15, has not been a very big factor in this game for the Eagles. And that's going to go the other way. 62-56.
Jay Heath has played with a lot of energy here tonight, particularly on the defensive end, and one of the reasons why is he's playing well offensively. The ball has gone in, and sometimes guys who hunt their offense and see themselves as offensive players, they don't show a lot of interest when the ball's not going to the basket. They don't show a lot of interest on the defensive end.
Heath will swish that one in from downtown. At a foot on the line, so a 62-58. The Eagles making a lot of shots here in the second half. Tough baseline drive. Here's the shot by Beverly. No. Ashton Langford quickly down the floor. Heath trying to cut inside. A great save on the deck there by Allen. Got it free, and a foul. And a tough collision there. Yeah, on the stanchion. Ellam's going down in a heap. And a flagrant foul.
No question.
7:59 to go. We've got a break and a tight game. 62-58 NC State.
This play here was called a flagrant one on Ashton Langford for unnecessary contact to the head, and there's no question it's the right call. He comes across, he's trying to make a play on the ball. A lot of teams have a no layup rule. I don't mind the effort, but when you get a guy in the head like this, and obviously it's a very physical play, that's going to be 2 shots in the ball.
So could wind up being a giant lift for the Wolfpack, as you mentioned, Chris, they get the ball back and he makes the pair. So that lengthens the lead to 64-58. Helms appears to be okay. Went strong into that stanchion too. Second foul on Ashton Langford. If they make a basket here, they really capitalize. Daniels off Helms' hands and out of bounds. Boston College has never led in the game. It was tied at 2-2 in the first seconds of the contest. Each side now 13 turnovers, 64-58 the Wolfpack. They try and pick up their second ACC win, having knocked off North Carolina. Point guard trying to get it in, and a whistle off the ball here, with activity away from the inbounds pass and the foul. So Daniels with the foul, with just under 8 minutes to go. And Braxton Beverly heading to the bench for NC State. Underneath Mitchell, got it to go.
He felt like he was waiting there for about 15 seconds. I mean, he was just standing on the baseline. He had position, and they finally bounced it to him.
So give him 12 points. Previous foul, by the way, was on Beverly, not on Daniels. On the drive, and that's going to fall off the iron, but a foul there with 7:22 on the clock.
I'll tell you what, Dave, NC State has been really sloppy in this second half. Some bad turnovers. And that's close. Look, I am at the point with this charge call where I'm erring on the side of calling it a block. I mean, we are seeing too many egregiously bad charge calls, and I know it's a tough call. It's one of the toughest calls in sports, but I'm okay with that call right there.
Winston tabs another one coming. He makes 82%. And back to a one-possession game. Helms trying to make a move, and he'll draw the foul. And Jericho Helms headed to the foul line. The ACC Network has Notre Dame and Clemson covered on Friday for the college football playoff semifinals. Packer and Durham kicking things off at 11 a.m. And the Huddle crew at a 2-hour pregame takes you right up to Bama Notre Dame at kickoff at 4. Paul Burmeister and the Irish radio team on the call. Then at 8, the Clemson radio team led by Don Munson with the Clemson Ohio State call. And after the game, the Huddle is back to break it all down with interviews with coaches and players. National football semifinals coming up on Friday.
Love to hear more about Dabo's coaches poll. He really spent a lot of time on that.
Yeah. Yes, he says he could certainly run for governor of the state of Michigan after what he said about Ohio State and where he voted for them. Oh, nicely done there, slashing inside Ashton Langford.
And it's important to note here, no DJ Funderburk over this stretch of time. It's hurt them offensively. You don't have that anchor you can throw it to on the block, offensive rebounding, and on plays like that, there is no length or size at the rim to alter shots.
Jumper by Moore, not there. Rebound tip to BC, and they can tie or take the lead here. Tipped away and stolen by Moore. In transition, Helms, a lot of contact there, and fouled before the shot, so no basket, but he does draw more contact. Getting very physical here down the stretch.
This is another one. I mean, like, this should be a bucket. Another turnover here, live ball, NC State gets out. And to me, he is in the process of taking that shot. That should be an end in a college basketball game sport where we need scoring. We got to be okay with that play.
Yep. I couldn't agree with you more. Already in the act of shooting it. So
that's what I'm looking at. I don't know what you saw. That's what I'm seeing there, and it's not even a continuation like in the NBA. He is in the act of taking his shot. They cut him off. That's got to be a shooting foul.
Yeah, it's not like he's taking 3 more steps, you know.
Right.
But a 3-point game with 6 minutes to go. And they're going to get Shaquille Moore for reaching and a personal foul.
You know, it'll be interesting when Kevin Keats decides to go back with DJ Funderburk. You know, and it's sometimes a different calculation with big guys because they're more apt to pick up that foul. And here he is.
So Funderburk returning in foul difficulty. He has had a monster game. At least he was having one before the foul problems. 21 points and 4 rebounds.
You get to a point, Dave, where you can't wait anymore. I mean, it's a 1-point game. You need to have your best player on the floor.
Playing with 4 fouls, however. Or breaking the pressure. Daniels back to the freshman. You expect Devin Daniels to try and do something here, but he's going to commit an offensive foul. And what is now a 1-point contest. Take another look at this one.
Yeah, I mean, I like that call. He's in legal guarding position. You're allowed to move laterally to stay in front of the ball, which Langford does.
So again, the Eagles have an opportunity to do something they haven't done all night. They were down by as many as 15. They have yet to have a lead. Tabbs way downtown. Wow. Yes! Now he's been very cold in this game, but maybe as he gives them their first lead, he's going to heat up just in the nick of time.
You know what's in there. He is super talented.
Boston College with their first lead. Tabbs now at 10 after the triple. 68-66. This is a bit of a shocker. Helms from the corner with an answer as he drills that one to make it 69-68.
That was a big
Under
time
5
answer.
to go. Big time indeed. He has 15. Step back Tabbs. Got another one.
Wow. Winston Tabbs. You can't help but feel good for that guy. Missed 670 days with knee injury, knee problems. He's back on the floor. 2 big-time threes down the stretch here.
Funderburk battling for the rebound and freed it for a moment, but a whistle in the paint. 4:30 to go. The threes are dropping.
All respect to the weather girls. It's not raining men, Dave O'Brien. It's raining threes down the stretch here in the Oak City. Winston Tabbs with 2 of them. And again, missed all of last season with a knee injury. Missed, half of the season before. Almost 670 days missed. He is back. Jim Christian telling you and I yesterday that he is healthy. And once he gets into a rhythm, we know how good he was before he got hurt. He is an outstanding basketball player.
Braxton Beverly back in now for NC State. He also has 4 fouls. And this ball game is tied as Helms makes it 71-71. Helms with 17. Now Boston College newfound confidence in the second half. Tabs a bit of a stumble, wants to drive it, and that's going to be number 5 on Braxton Beverly. Just barely reinserted into the game, and he commits foul number 5.
Yeah, he has not been very good tonight, and the foul trouble has hampered him. It's taken some rhythm offensively. And that's just a tough matchup for Beverly, you know, trying to stay in front of a guard like Winston Tabs.
So the senior from Hazard, Kentucky, has fouled out. Jim Christian called a timeout in this game less than 2 minutes in. He was so upset with how things were going, and for most of the first half they continued to go poorly for Boston College. And when the second half began, they were still down by 10. But they have taken a lead here. Now a tie game at 71. And trying to go back in front once more with Tabs at the line. And he makes the first.
You know, Jim Christian telling us yesterday, Tabs, because of the health issues he's had, he doesn't practice much. That, you know, he has to listen to his body. The coaching staff has to listen to him. They're very cautious with him in practice.
Boston College with a 73-71 lead on the road here in Raleigh. The Wolfpack 1 field goal in the last 5.5 minutes plus. Helms turning to the basket. He'll drive it. And a foul on the play.
A really nice take. They're trying to hit DJ Funderburk. Helms catches it. Good little shot fake, show of the ball. Nice drive, finish through contact. We got a good one here at the under 4 timeout.
NC State coming off a really nice win against North Carolina, but think about this for a minute. 15 wins for NC State against Carolina since 1991. The next ACC game they play after beating Carolina, 2-12 over that span of games, and they're fighting for their lives here tonight against Boston College, Chris.
Yeah. Well, and if you extrapolate that out to games after North Carolina and Duke, I think the number's 4-24. So, I mean, you know, look, you know how big this rivalry is, this area is when it comes to these 3 teams competing. And, you know, there's a letdown. It's, you know, you see it in other sports as well. Teams that, you know, play Notre Dame in a week. And, I mean, it just, you know, certain psychologies, they take over, particularly with college athletes.
Helms has luckily been the man for the Wolfpack. He scored the last 12 points. And he puts the Pack in front by 1. And he has 20. Tabs has been cooking all of a sudden. Flips it over his shoulder, and contact on the play, and a foul as the basket was good. And now they're going to wave it off. That's going to be an offensive foul.
Well, first of all, he traveled. They missed that. And then he, you know, it was a tough take on C.J. Felder, who's coming in there hard. That was a really good take.
Felder with 5 fouls on that charge. So the Wolfpack trying to add to a 1-point advantage here in the last 3 minutes of play. Funderburk doubled up and stripped from him by Karnick. BC with a big turnover. Ashton Langford. Shot clock down to 13. Ashton Langford trying to drive by the big man. Around the back, got it out. Mitchell will fire it up there. He can't hit it.
Karnick's got to shoot that. You much rather have Karnick shoot that than Mitchell.
Daniels looking in. NC State by 1. Boston College will tip that out of play with 2:20 left. Kevin Keats, a battle here tonight when it certainly didn't feel that way in the first half. It's turned into a mighty fight in the second. Shot clock down to 3. A collision and a blocking foul. And it'll go against BC with 2:12 to go.
It's been a battle all night. Those two guys going at it. That's a good call by the official. And now you get your redshirt senior Devin Daniels closing in on 2 minutes in a 1-point game. He's got 2 free throws here.
And missing on number 1 in a 1-point game. There's a game summary. Boston College really cutting those turnovers down in the second half. That's been huge. NC State on top by 2. (75-73) the Wolfpack. Ashton Langford. Jump shot on the way by Heath. Trying to save the air ball. And it was deflected. So they're going to keep it.
8 seconds on the shot clock, though.
8 to shoot. Yeah, off Funderburg, who tried to get out of the way. Shot clock down to 2. And cast up there, and it's going to be around and out. It caught a lot of the iron. A mad scramble for that. BC comes away with it, and they will call a timeout. 1:34 remaining. It's getting fast and furious.
Wow.
Boston College had to heave up a 32-footer with the shot clock winding down, and they get the ball back.
They do. That was well defended by NC State. They are so good at defending the 3-point line, chasing shooters off, and you know, you had 2 dribble handoffs there that BC forced them to have to guard, and this is the shot you end up with. Not a good look, and I think, you know, you look back on this, if you end up losing, if you're Jim Christian, that's a possession you wish you had back.
Well, at the very least, they do get the basketball back with just over a minute and a half to go here. And Boston College is now out of timeouts. And remember, early in the game, Christian had to burn a timeout or 2 as it was getting away in a hurry, and they seemed like very well-timed timeouts. The officials going to the monitor here. Not exactly sure what they're looking at here. 2-point lead for NC State. And a game that, frankly, in the first half, they looked well on their way to winning by a lot. But quite a fight back by the Eagles of BC. I guess what they were looking at there was the shot clock on the heave and whether he got it off in time. So that's what we're being told. The reason they went to review it at the monitor.
You'd love to see this ball go towards the basket, be it Tabs or Jay Heath. You know, you'd love this thing to go to the basket, and then you kick out to 3.
The Again, what is at stake here? BC looking for their first win in Raleigh in a long time. From the corner. Oh, it's Tabs again on the money with a three-pointer.
He has really come alive, huh, Dave? Over the last 3 minutes here, 3 big-time threes from Winston Tabs.
Dan missed all of last season recovering from left knee surgery. As Chris mentioned, 676 days, the layoff. He's been their offensive star this season. But he was pretty quiet until the second half. Here's Daniels, and that doesn't touch anything on its way out of bounds. BC by 1 with a minute and 2 seconds to play, and getting very physical. Daniels on the misfire. Tabs has hit most of his shots in the second half. Tabs with the last 11 points for Boston College. A little extra something there.
A little jawing. I don't blame Daniels for taking exception to that, but it shows you how good Tabs is feeling about himself. You know, he can score in a lot of different ways, and those of you who saw him, you know, when he first got into a BC uniform, just a dynamic offensive player, and he's just a great story. You know, his dad died of a heart attack when he was 17 years old. I was talking to him the other day about, you know, having to go through all of those knee issues and not playing for a year and a half, and his dad was one of, you know, they were so close to one another, having to do that without him. And he just loves Boston College so much. He's an easy guy to root for.
Look at the last jumper by Daniels that went eventually sailing out of bounds. Officials with another review here. Boston College with a 76-75 lead with a minute 2 seconds to play. Boston College will have the ball. There will no deflection on that play, so it's BC in possession. Jay Heath to bring it up under a minute to go. Boy, Boston College with some comeback in this game. Got some key men in foul trouble. Manny Bates barely played because of an injury. Shot clock down to 10. Heath will fire from the corner. He can't get it. Rebounded by the Wolfpack. Down by 1. Moore with it. The jumper. Got it. He nails a two-pointer. And the Wolfpack are up by 1 with 26.9 to go.
He's got some stones. Shaq Moore. Kevin Keats decides not to call a timeout to let his team play. And how about the freshman? Loves the stage, loves the bright lights. That is a tough shot going to his right hand, coming back into that left. What a big-time shot by the freshman.
Very confident looking shot.
Yeah.
Youngster who had 17 against North Carolina. It's a nice way to introduce yourself to that rivalry. To say hello, and 26.9 to go. NC State by 1.
When you know this ball for BC is going to go to either Tabs or Heath. You know, if you're NC State, you've got to talk. So many crossing things, handoffs, ball screens. You know, NC State typically switching 1 through 4. You've got to make sure you're talking to switch on those two guys, because both those guys are tough shot makers.
Well, we've seen 6 lead changes in the last 6 minutes. BC would like to see another one. 20 seconds to go. Got to figure the number 10 would get his hands on it, but they lose control of it. It's on the deck in a tie-up with 14.4 seconds to go. And NC State has the possession arrow. They have the basketball.
Inexcusable if you're Boston College. Now this play is made by Devin Daniels. I mean, just an extra effort to get, you know, that hand in there to poke it away. You have to be able to make a wing entry pass. You know, that's inexcusable for Boston College.
You're right about that, and also correct to give Daniels credit. He's a really good defender. And that's a huge defensive play for him.
Let's not forget he got elbowed.
Yeah, that's right. Got that one free. Moore's got it. Moore going up and made the shot. He made the shot. 2 seconds to go. The heave going to be well short, and NC State pulls it out. 79-76, the final score. And the physical play continues after the horn. Daniels and Tab in particular, they were really getting into it. They still are. He made the great defensive play at the end. And NC State pulls out what turns out to be a thriller.
Yeah. Well, Devin Daniels, Winston Tabbs, after he hit the 3, felt he was going to go up and kind of nudge him in the back. And Daniels took exception to that. Made a really good defensive play there at the end. And these 2 last possessions, the turnover and then whatever they were doing there defensively, deciding not to foul, not good by Boston College.
Now that was fascinating to watch because they never stopped the clock. They never went for the foul. And Moore winds up driving to the basket. That was his key jumper earlier. And he scores the final 2 on that play. Went for the dunk. It went down anyway. Boy, what an ending to that one. And NC State now perfect 2-0 in ACC play. Boston College, the victim in this one. For my partner, Chris Patola, I'm Dave O'Brien. Thanks for joining us tonight here in Raleigh, North Carolina.